Spring ball in the books. Good 15 practices, good positive work. Fun day. Awesome to be in Snapdragon for the first time. A lot of fun. A lot of work still to be done, but great spring, great start. Really like where we're at and where we're headed.
Talk about the quarterbacks today. What do you think? What do you see?
Yeah, I thought they started out really well. It's good accuracy. Saw some good timing, some good location. There was some good chemistry. They've been working through. We got to consistently do that all the way through to finish as the field tightens up a little bit there in the red zone. But pleased with the way that all of them performed.
What were your thoughts on the defense today, and what areas do you think they improved?
Yeah, I thought, again, they started a little bit slow, the way that they bowed up in the end, especially there in the sudden change period, in the red zone period, right, to be able to respond. I think on both sides of the ball, we can continue to do a good job within the line of scrimmage, right? I'd like to see a little bit more physicality across the board as we continue to develop our guys through summer conditioning as we move forward, but was really pleased with the effort.
Javance came in second today. Does that show his progress up the ladder, and what did you see from him?
Yeah, I thought he did a really good job, and he's taking great strides all through these 15 practices, right? And so as he continues to work through, and as we were rotating all those guys and splitting time with all the different groups, he's continuing to take strides, really doing a good job. He needs to continue to work on the different types of pitches that he throws, but, he's taking strides and learning how to process, how to throw with anticipation. He's doing a good job.
And then in the red zone late, it was mainly Duffy and O'Neal. They're maybe the leaders in the clubhouse, and what have they shown?
Yeah, the two of them are a little bit ahead of the rest of the pack right now, and they've been the most consistent guys that we've gone through it. Again, still lots of room for them to grow and as they move through, but they've grasped everything as quick as anyone in the room. They're able to process the information faster than anyone, and they got good arm talent to put it all together. Kyle's doing a good job. He's coming along as well.
How different team are you now between practice 1 to practice 15?
Night and day. I think there's just a much better understanding of what we're looking for, the way the guys are going about their business, and the overall understanding. We went out there the first day, and the number of missed assignments, miscommunications, things that were going on to be expected, right? Year one, spring one, to where we were today, they're doing a much better job.
How do you keep your energy up this high? Is this just like how you are? Are you guys dialing it back at all?
Again, I love what I do with it all, right? So to have the opportunity to be here, to coach these guys, everyone's made a huge deal about my energy, and I'm just going to be me. I'm going to do what I do and continue to pour into these guys and what we love to do as a staff.
You've been here like 5 months. How'd your hack get that dirty so fast?
Because of the energy and running around and working hard, I guess.
Coach, I know you said that this is just 1 of 15.
Yep.
But the kickers, this is the first time they've kicked in the place where they're going to kick.
Yep.
Does it mean a little bit more to them, and what did you see from the field goal kickers today?
No, I thought they've gone about it the right way. I think the unique thing about this place that I've learned today is kind of how the wind can move around in here and just kind of feeling that for the first time. So me learning that and knowing how that's going to impact our decisions in the fall, that was the biggest thing for me individually with it. Again, I thought they did a really nice job across the board. Again, I think Tano and Owen have been really, really impressive throughout all of camp. Dom Oliver has been very, very consistent and continued to be a presence off the edge today. And again, the guys have been really consistent in the back end. It probably doesn't show up in the stat sheets, maybe tackles or interceptions and things like that, but just the way that they're doing a really good job disrupting the route timing, being physical and press man-to-man. So again, those guys jump to the top for their total body of work, and we'll have a better idea as we watch the full tape and kind of have a really good understanding of who did what within the intimacies of the call.
Trey Wright looks like he's kind of really taken to the stand-up edge rusher role.
Yeah.
Is he a guy you maybe stick in there and being in that starting rotation?
Yeah, he's definitely going to be in the mix, absolutely. And again, he's embraced that change to get down to level 1, and he's really working on refining his craft as he goes forward with it. Again, still lots of room for him to grow and improve. It obviously is very, very new, but yeah, him and Dom have been very, very consistent on the edges, all through the camp.
And in that 4-3-5 defense, how important is it to get guys off the edge who can put pressure on the quarterback?
Yeah, it's extremely important, right? We want those guys to have a pass rush demeanor and get up the field and to stress the edge and to disrupt the timing as they go forward with everything. So it's critical to be able to do that and to generate that and to have a guy who can come off the edge and do that individually, win a one-on-one, dictate some slides and the way that we can protect things so that we can let that guy go be at his best, right, and really disrupt the timing of the offense.
What's important now between now and they get them back on the field in the fall? What's most important for the coaching staff and the players at this point?
The biggest thing is that we finish school the right way, right? That they got some time here as they finish up classes and as we get into finals that they handle that the right way. They're going to have a little bit of downtime, and as a coach, I'm a little bit paranoid about what they do with their downtime, right? So getting back to campus here safely and in shape so that when we hit the ground running on May 20th for the start of summer conditioning, that they're in shape and we don't have to waste time getting in shape to start training, that we can maximize all that time as we move forward to get game ready for the fall.
At what point in the fall camp will you have to feel the idea you have to commit to one starting quarterback?
I'd like to do it as soon as possible, right? I'd like to do it as soon as possible, but I'm not going to be rushed to make a decision in that regard. But the sooner the better, so that the guys know who the leader of the team is going to be.
What sort of things go into your mind when you're weighing this?
How much time do we have? Everything, right? How they process, how they make decisions, how the guys rally around them. How do they handle and manage the offense? How do they limit the number of limit the negative plays, manage the explosive plays? What's their demeanor like on game day, right? How are they going to react when adversity hits? All those things that play into it. I mean, it's a litany of things that you got to work through.
Coach, with the season fast approaching, how satisfied are you with the implementation of this new offense?
Yeah, I really like where we're at. I mean, I think for all things considered, and the numerous times that I've done this, whether it was, at all my various stops, I feel very pleased with where we are. I like the course and the direction that we've taken. And now, again, we really got to refine it, and we got to continue to develop and grow and, get everyone where they need to be in terms of a physical standpoint, a mental standpoint, so we can go operate this thing for, the 14-round fight that we're hoping to be in, as we move through the season. Yeah, absolutely. Right. I mean, those two guys from the tape that I've seen in the past, they're really, really good players, right? So I'm eager to get them healthy and, again, have a real true assessment of where we are up front along the line of scrimmage.
If fast is 100 miles an hour, are you guys at like 60% now?
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment, right? I mean, day one we were out there and it looked like we were sitting in a school zone, and today we're kind of on, the 15, and now hopefully by the time we get to the season we're on the Autobahn and we can roll a little bit. Again, it's hard to say from where I was standing without looking at the tape, but again, real total body of work. Offensively, I've been very, very pleased with Braden Bryant. He didn't do a ton today, but up front, he's done a great job really communicating, really living our standards. And, we can only go as fast as those big boys up front. So he's embraced that challenge to get the communication out and to set the table and to go. So, offensively, he's done a really, really nice job. And then, I think defensively, I've been very, very pleased with Deshaun McEwen. I mean, he's had a really, really impressive spring ball from start to finish. And, again, a lot of stuff that he does might not show up on the stat sheet, but, I mean, he's made some plays all through camp that are really, really impactful that I know are going to help us win ball games.
Last time I asked you about the receiver group, you had mentioned they needed to work on consistency. How pleased were you with them today?
Yeah, I mean, they did some good things. There's still some things, again, that, within the run game, that they got to be a little bit tighter. The details of their splits and their alignments that we can control, again, needs to tighten up. But, again, without seeing the tape, I didn't really feel a ton of drop balls. I didn't really feel a ton of missed assignments in the throw game. But, again, the consistency of our highs and lows all through spring ball, especially in that group, we need to continue to tighten up as we move forward.
How much more of the playbook have you not even touched yet?
There's probably about 25% that's still out there. And what we showed today was probably about less than 30% of what was in. So things got pretty vanilla there towards the end as we're repeating calls and everything. But, we're always going to have enough, in our war chest to make sure that we can keep the defense on their heels and to keep our kids interested, to come to the building and see what the game plans each week are going to look like and have a lot of fun with what we do.
Given the limited number of times you get to be with them, how much do you make sure that you're not making them like drink from a fire hose and some of the information actually does stick and not just pop right back out?
Yeah, again, I think that's kind of the art of coaching with it, right? To where the staff has to do a really good job of giving me feedback and then what you see and where we're at. And is there consistent breakdowns and certain conceptual understandings to where you don't want to press too far, right? I think some of the best things that we did was kind of press pause a little bit on the install as we were going through, as not to overwhelm the guys, but to make sure that we could lay some foundational understanding of the things that I know we're going to rep a bunch. And that really helped us get our feet underneath us so that then we could refine it as we move through. But there's still a lot more that we need to put in.
This team had a hard time tackling last year. Obviously, you weren't here, but some of the players were.
Sure.
I mean, has that been an emphasis? And if so, how do you feel like they've responded to what you're trying to do?
Yeah, I mean, we got to work that in a very smart way, right? So the defense does a great job with their tackle circuits and ball takeaway circuits really every single day that we do it. We're pretty select about the number of times that we live tackle, again, just to be smart in that way, because a lot of what goes into that is the approach, the angles, understanding the leverage. It's not so much the moment of truth, right? Like either some guys know how to time that up and to strike and to do it, but we can really pour into the approach of it all. And I've been really pleased with the way that the guys have grasped hold of that and the way that they've gone about it. But it's a huge point of emphasis for us, right? Like that's the one thing that's a separator in our sport and a lot of other ones is the physicality of the game and the willingness to put your face on some things and get the ball carried to the ground, right? So that'll be something that we continually stress.
You only have two linebackers out there on defense. One of the biggest traits you have to have is it coverage ability, is it filling the gap?
I think the way that offenses have evolved, if you're going to play off the ball in the back end, you have to have a very diverse skill set and really be a positionless player, right? So even though that there's two out there, there's a lot of time where one of those guys is displaced and walked away into the boundary, and he's got to be able to have the range to cover, right? Where he's still got to be physical enough to be down in the box. So they're kind of like Swiss Army knives that have to be able to do a lot of different things within the scheme, and they got to be great communicators, and they got to be able to process just as well as our quarterbacks need to be able to process, because of all the information that they're seeing, especially as we start getting into, seeing teams that trade, shift, motion, and all those different things to make sure that we're in the proper calls and communicate that to the guys up front so we can be gap sound.
Do you have those guys on your roster right now?
Yeah, I feel like we're got a strong unit right there. We're always looking to add pieces where we can that can help us in the future.
How many edge rushers do you need to be able to keep them enough fresh to, be able to go at the pace that you guys go out with those guys?
Yeah, I would love to be 4 to 6 deep at that spot, right? There's probably going to be a little bit of drop off, from those top end guys to where you get to number 6, but you want to have depth and you want to have that competitive depth to push guys along each and every single day, so that, within your building, that you can, put a group out there, whether it's normal down and distance, it's a pass rush package, whatever the case might be. But if you can have 4 to 6 guys that can truly, put their hand in the dirt, get their butt cocked up a little bit high in those obvious pass situations and go impact the passer, and only have to commit 4 guys to do it, well, then you can flood the zones with coverage, and you're able to do some things and to have a competitive advantage lean your way.
A couple more questions for Coach.
Do you have any thoughts on the new rules in college football where you can have the instant communication and the 2 minutes?
The 2-minute warning I think will be good. It'll obviously add another moment in time in those critical situations where we'll probably get an opportunity to talk to our guys, bring them to the boundary within the game will stop. So I think that'll be good and help our guys take the test, as we move through each Saturday. And then along the same lines with the helmet communication, right, it's very much the same thing, right, to where we pride ourselves that on game day we're taking the test with the kids. We don't want them to just be out there on their own. So having that ability to speak with one of the linebackers, to speak with, a quarterback, and, we'll kind of play with how we're going to use that, what the best modality is for that, given our style of play. And I look forward to doing some professional development with, some different teams, through May here, and get some good answers for how teams are utilizing that this spring and how guys have utilized it to the best of their ability, at the NFL level as well.
We saw Jude Wolf catch a touchdown today, and we also know he can run block well.
Yeah.
How much does it help out from an offensive standpoint having a guy who can do both?
Yeah, it's critical, right? And again, it's kind of the way we talk about with the backers, to where if you have a tight end that it's multifaceted and he can detach and, be a threat as a wide receiver, right? And he can be an inline blocker, or he can be a fullback or H-back type set. Now it puts some stress on, the defensive coordinator and their personnel packages. So do you treat that guy as a true inline tight end? Do you treat it like 11 personnel? Is it 10 personnel because he can stretch a vertical seam? So having that guy that can do a lot of different things allows you to be creative as a play caller and a play designer, and it puts a little bit extra stress on that defensive play caller to determine how they're going to identify that individual and how they're going to deploy their scheme as well.
Do you see this quarterback's room as multifaceted?
Say that again?
Do you see the QB room as multifaceted?
Yeah, we'd like to have a guy, that those guys have a diverse skill set, right, to where they can be a thrower and a runner and be able to, again, apply as much pressure in a lot of different ways in that regard. I think all the guys today did a nice job when some things broke down. They were able to step through and generate, some first downs and some extra yards that extended some drives. So when you have the ability to do that and you make a really bad play call, like I did today, right, they can make you right in that regard. So that's pretty cool.